So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for agreeing to be a part of the first episode of BballNaija Focus. And the focus for today would be on business opportunities within basketball in Nigeria and the sports industry at large. Ugo is here. Ugo is the founder and CEO of Alpha Sports, a sports and footwear apparel manufacturer in Nigeria. And Opeyemi Babalola is the brain behind Weber Engineering, which is the first, I think the only basketball uprights manufacturer in Nigeria and Africa. Am I right?
I would imagine so.
Yeah. Ugo, did I get the introduction properly, sir?
Yes, you are very good.
Okay. Thanks for joining. Ugo, I'll start with you. How much influence did organizing the Lagos Islanders like you did, the African Basketball League and the CBL, how much influence did that have on you setting up the Alpha Sports company?
It had all the influence in every aspect. I mean, it was something that we always had in mind, but it's different when you're in the nitty-gritty. And during my experience with the ABL and the CBL, I think the thing that really got to me was when, even with all my experience in the basketball world, we couldn't get apparel sponsors for our programs. And I also noticed that one of the telling things that I noticed was that the basketballs we had, because of the humidity, was very slippery and was causing a lot of turnovers. I remember when we were in Ivory Coast because the arena wasn't air conditioned, the game was very ugly because with the sweat, balls were being dropped. So I came up with an idea to come up with a ball that absorbs sweat. And and we kind of palette, segued into Alpha Sports. It wasn't something that we knew that would be this intense, but I think the CBL and ABL programs and also learning to understand the sports apparel market in Nigeria we felt like it was an opportunity for us.
Oh, okay. Thanks. So it was just from the opportunities you identified from organizing basketball games that led to Alpha Sport. Great.
Correct.
Yeah, I know that for both of you, you've at one point in time played basketball professionally. Ugo with the national team and college basketball. The same thing for Weber, the Down Warriors, Kwara Falcons. Is playing basketball, is it a fundamental requirement for you to explore other businesses as regards basketball? And this question is for the two of you. Is it a requirement that you have to play basketball professionally for you to explore the opportunities?
Well, for me, I don't think so. I think it helps. I think your understanding of the real-time experience helps. But also, I think it's also mostly because we are passionate about the game. I don't think if I wasn't passionate about basketball, I probably would not be involved in this. But the passion was the gateway to where we are now. The passion from playing is what's transferred to the passion to the business, and also helping. For us, we also knew that for basketball to grow, an apparel company is an indigenous apparel company is very integral for that to happen. And if you look at the countries that have grown so much in sports, you have the grassroots. If you have an apparel company that's symbiotic with attracted to the indigenous community, it helps a lot. You think about how Nike came and sold jerseys outside of Nigeria, made so much money, and nobody was hired, nobody was employed, no opportunity to create jobs. And also we think about former players that don't have anything to do when they're done playing. These platforms are supposed to be part of the ecosystem that gives everyone an opportunity to really, that's been involved in basketball, to understand and be part of the whole ecosystem, even if after they've retired.
Yeah, okay. Okra, how about you? What influence did playing professional basketball have on you setting up Weber? And do you think that playing professionally is a requirement to explore business opportunities in basketball?
No, I totally agree with what Ugo has said. It's absolutely not a prerequisite. However, it's something you can leverage on if you really have the experience, as a player, to whatsoever level, whether as a local-based player or ever played international or on the national team. The key thing there is the passion. If you start in any kind of business in Nigeria, you always have challenges here and there. And believe you me, if you don't have enough passion to carry you through, you'll be out in a year or two. Yeah. So for me, like Ugo said as well, it's been the passion. And the literature is always out there. So even if you don't have the experience and you're driven by passion, you can always learn on the job. So again, it's all about your commitment to wanting to get in the streamline of the business you are into, and also learning to understand the ecosystem as regards to the challenges. And believe you me, the challenges are always different from locality to locality. The challenges we face in Nigeria are absolutely different from if you had set up something like this in South Africa or Tunisia. So again, there's a lot to learn, to be honest.
Okay, so I'll start from you again. What planning process goes into exploring business opportunities in basketball in Nigeria? Like, what do you need to do to identify and to tap on those opportunities to create businesses out of those opportunities? Starting from your point.
Well, for me, starting up Weber Engineering was initially leveraging on the connection that I have in the basketball family, in terms of the stakeholders I knew while I was playing, the friends that I know would be interested in purchasing my product, especially family and friends. So I, used that as a kind of review cycle for my product to know if what I was really doing was worth it or I was just wasting my time. And I got a lot of support and a lot of encouragement. To be honest with you, I'm so elated and happy to be on the platform like this morning with someone like Ugo, because he was part of my support system back in 2016 when we had the ABL. 2016, yeah. We had ABL, and I had the opportunity of showcasing one of our uprights, at that event, and it was really a boost for our organization. So for me, it was, kickstarting my business with leveraging on friends and family, my connect with the basketball stakeholders that I've known over the years, and for me, again, this was an idea I'd had over 25 years, that stayed with me for that long. So it was, I'd learned to make friends over that long period of time to be able to now, sell my product. So that was just for me the way it went.
Well, how about you? What planning process goes into exploring business opportunities in basketball and in sports in general in Nigeria?
First of all, there's a plethora of opportunities in sports that's not even tapped. We haven't even, people look at AFA and Weber, we haven't even scratched the surface. Everybody's more focused on getting that government appointed position because it's the easy thing to do, to make money. Everybody's so focused on, I want to be a commissioner, I want to be, whatever government position that gives you access to government funds is what everybody's focused on. While there's so many opportunities right in front of you, so many. In my mind, I'm trying to do so much stuff right now because there's other businesses in sports I'm trying to get into as quickly as possible. It's all around you. I don't know if you can see it, then you're looking in the wrong places. Nigeria, in particular, and West Africa has the highest, in my opinion, the best for a sports person, the best, how do I say it, physiology, biology, however you want to say it. You know, if you look at all the top players in the NBA, if you look at the people, we have the money. I think what's lacking is infrastructure. And there's opportunity you can market to the masses. You know, look at Weber. I know when he started, and people forget that, you know, it started with one upright. We started, I didn't even know, I've never run a shoe company before. Before CBL, ABL, I didn't wait to become MDBF president to come up with ABL or CBL. We did it. I never run a direct center league before. It was all based on passion. And I think anybody that has things to do can run their own league. You know, we need about 500 leagues in Africa. 1 league, 2 leagues is not enough. We need more Webers. We need more Alpha Sports. I'm willing to encourage anyone that wants to do it. You know, my template is not hidden. I'll show you how it's done, and you go do it. You know, I think we really need to shift that narrative where everybody thinks, hey, being zonal chairman or, yeah, what the hell? You know, it doesn't help anyone. I think the real economic and the real thing is when you create an enterprise that will benefit everybody. You know, you don't have to be president of this or that in the government position to do what you have to do. The opportunity is there in every way. It's all around you. I think what is lacking probably is the passion and the reality of how these things really get done. And, you know, I hope my goal is to provide a support system for the people that want to create something. If anybody wants to start a basketball league, you can do it tomorrow. You know, I think all the barriers have been broken at this point. So it's much easier than what we experienced.
Yeah. But in terms, you mentioned, Ugo, that, you know, you didn't even know about organizing a league till, you know, the ABL idea came up and ran it. For Alpha Sports, so how much learning did you have to do, and what was the process like to understand the apparel business, to understand the shoe business? How much learning went into that, you know?
Well, for me, like Weber said, it's all about passion. You know, I went in there without knowing what to expect, how much money to raise. You know, I went in there with passion, but one thing we did, we started small. And we did things the right way. We made sure our investor confidence, anything we did was accounted for. You know, we made sure we took the long road. We didn't take any shortcuts. You know, we built the enterprise block by block. And while we were building block by block, we made our mistakes, we learned, whether it's from the supply chain to the inventory management, to the retail, to the sales, to the marketing. You know, most of it was done reading books and taking classes online and doing some internships with some organizations. You know, you learn as you go. And I always tell my people this, you know, the more we grow, the faster we have to learn, because the business is moving so fast. Even at some point, if I stop learning, except if I want to stunt the growth of my business, I might have to replace myself. You know, so because what we're doing is bigger than me, is bigger than anybody, is bigger than anything. So we have to quickly keep learning, you know, and there's no thing that stops. Like reading is my passion, and no matter what problem we come across, whether it's the supply chain, you go and familiarize yourself with it and learn to be more effective. Because our goal is to deliver the best product and the best way as possible.
Okay, good. Okay, you have an engineering background, right? And you have experience with metal fabrication and everything. How easy or difficult was it to apply that knowledge to Weber engineering, and what was the process like?
Well, the engineering background I had was in a total different field entirely, which was subsea engineering. So it wasn't like I was doing subsea Christmas trees or anything this time around. But like you said, I leveraged on the experience of knowing how to interpret drawings, how to get specifications and follow through those specifications in terms of the fabrication process, the quality assurance, the start from start to finish of the job, from computer-aided design to computer-aided manufacturing process, transferring knowledge to the guys in the shop floor as regards to how to what the customer expectations are, and also in terms of what the FIBA specifications as slated, the way the equipment should be. So again, all of these wasn't just built in a day. You had the challenges of making mistakes once in a while. Then you go back to the drawing board, try to identify where the problems came from, and over time we began to get it right, and hopefully will also do better than what we currently offer, because we have a research and development um, strategy of trying to look into new markets, new opportunities. We've got global competitors much, much bigger than us, the likes of Spalding, Shelby, Garrett, Porter, and the numerous Chinese companies out there as well. So we must find a way to protect our own niche, our own continent, our own country, so we can grow in our own ecosystem as well.
Yeah, you mentioned global competitors, right? And we know that both products, both Alpha products and Weber products, they featured on the international scale. Weber uprights have been used for World Cup qualifiers. We also know that Alpha Sport is partnering with the Ghanaian Basketball Association to be their official kit sponsors. What does it take to provide service at an international level for both Alpha Sport and Weber Engineering?
Well, from the little knowledge and understanding I have, there are laid down processes and procedures for being allowed to get your products or get certain level of accreditation. For instance, for the basketball uprights, FIBA expects that for you to be an accredited vendor, to be on their approved vendors list, you have to have supplied a gymnasium, no, actually two gymnasiums outside of your primary country location, with your product. Okay? And then you need to submit a lot of documentation to their own technical team for review, so that they can then give you that stamp of quality. So we are still in that, process of. Then you must have also been in business for over 4 years, I think. Yeah. So we've done 5 years. We're doing 5 years by October this year, and we are almost in the process of getting locked into this system. So for our own kind of product, that's the way it goes. However, I know it's a different ball game for products like the apparel that Alpha produces.
Ugo, what's the process like, for Alpha Sports to provide service at, international level?
The most important thing again comes down to quality and making sure we are on top of the game, and making sure we do our homework. We're not in a rush to, because we are so passionate about what we do, we make sure our products are international standard. Right now we ship to 32 countries. We're expanding to different opportunities, Accra, Houston, Abuja, etc., etc. So, it comes down to passion and making sure our goal is to make sure people like our products, we put smiles on people's faces. And, when we started this, it wasn't just about, international, whatever. We always knew that once we were able to compete, that there will be no issues at all. I remember when Weber started, when I first met Weber in his journey, I always told him, you're going to be a very rich man. I always said, well, he can tell you that.
Yeah.
I was I did everything I can because I knew what he was doing was part of the process. I knew what he was doing was going to change the narrative. And, people don't even understand what's happening. I think in 10 years, or I give it max 10 years, they will see how what people like him are doing that will change the way sports is played in Africa. You don't even know, every time I'm so proud of him. And every time I see his videos, every time I see him expanding, I am extremely, it's my own baby too.
Yeah.
Because I know it's part of the process.
Yeah.
And talking about expansion too, Ugo, you mentioned that I know that Alpha Sports has also extended beyond just basketball. I think the company sponsored the power weightlifting team, and you're also expanding into fitness now. Was that part of the objective from the very beginning, or did that happen along the line? Did you have to adapt to demand, or what was that process like? Is this something you've always had in mind?
Absolutely, it's something we had in mind, and our ultimate goal is to be a brand that makes Africans proud. Whether in fitness or in athleisure or basketball, our ultimate goal is not just about numbers. Our ultimate goal is, to create a brand that when you put it on, you feel electrified. You feel proud that this is yours, and also to help grow the grassroots basketball. We are about to launch not for COVID, we're about to launch a program that will encompass most of West Africa. Most of our profits and everything we do is to grow the sports. And, so the younger people can see how this is done. And also look at all the players. I was having a conversation with a former basketball player that played for 17 years in the Nigerian Basketball League. And he mentioned something about not being able to play because of the coronavirus. And I said, you've done this for 17 years. You don't even have any, what has it done for you? And what has it done for you? I think for us is to create a process where not just the basketball players, the cleaners, the referees, the whole ecosystem has the benefit. For us, it's not just about creating a sports brand. It's about creating a culture, an environment that changes the way things are. It still sickens me every day when I know the potential of sports in Nigeria and what we've been left with. It does not make any sense.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get there someday. Okay, is it the same for you? Like I know that Weber is also expanding into real estate, where you fabricate for construction, real estate developers. Was that part of the plan from the very beginning too, or did you at one point in time had to evolve based on market demand?
To be honest with you, it was never part of the initial plan. It was just me finding a way to, make sure the cash flow was positive. Because at the time we were always like, we're almost like, is this thing going to work at all? Because we had a few challenges, downtime of machines because the orders weren't coming in like we wanted, and we just had to leverage on the skill sets we have and the manpower we had to do other things, which absolutely were not basketball related. But the funny thing was that, rather the interesting thing was that some of the same materials we used for these other construction work and all that, the leftovers, we can always use them for part of our basketball equipment. So it was really a good way of minimizing wastage. It was a good way of leveraging on other products to make more money, and it was a win-win situation at the end of the day. So for me, it wasn't actually part of the plan initially to diversify into this other arm of the business, but um, you realize basketball is not like it is in Angola, where I was coming from at that time, where basketball was their number one sport. So you go across the city of Luanda and you see basketball courts almost at every corner of the streets, and you wonder, wow, this is an interesting sport here. So for us to really build that kind of a system in Nigeria, it's really tough because the way our urban development has been set up is, I'm sorry to say, messed up. You find a lot of big cities like Lagos State, we don't even have free driveways, we don't have free parking lots to even recreate. So there's a lot of cars parked in our compounds, which don't even allow us to set up infrastructure for sports. So there were a lot of challenges when we started, and these were part of it. So we just had to diversify to make sure we're still in business.
Okay. So you mentioned challenges. I know there are many, as you know, many businesses experience in Nigeria. But from your perspective, and also for Alpha Sports, what has been the major challenge in running a business in the sports industry in Nigeria?
Well, the major challenge has always been the issue of power. It's something you face every day. You need to run generators. You need to service generators. You need to, dispose them when they are they are no longer profitable, and get new ones, and they don't come cheap. Of late, it's been the issue of the pandemic. So people don't really go out there to exercise anymore. However, we've tried to turn this around for our own, good, because now we offer home recreational sport infrastructures where you can put up a little basketball upright within the comfort of your home. You can either have it as a portable system or a fixed system. So we're also looking at, it's a dynamic business. So it's a dynamic world. So you always have to find a way around it to make sure you keep yourself active. Yeah.
Ugo, how about you? What has been your biggest challenge running Alpha Sport?
I think, first of all, the environment is not very entrepreneurial friendly. In all the aspects, more that Webb has mentioned, but if you're doing something like this, you don't expect, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
Doing it, yeah.
So, but every challenge you come across, whether it's COVID or government or whatever, you find a way around it. You expand quickly, you move out of the environment, whatever that makes it work. You find a way to make it work and hope for the best. But again, beginning of the show, I was like so excited to see Weber because I know he knows I know what he's going through. And there's nobody that's in this except you have not been part of it. It's always interesting. I've never had high blood pressure till I moved back to Nigeria. I don't even want to ask Weber. I don't even want to ask Weber, but that's something that to talk about some other time. But there's always going to be challenges in anything you're doing. There's always going to be. There's no day I wake up. There's no hurdle to climb. You just gotta improvise. You just gotta come up with solutions. I can give you a whole list. We won't finish this program today. You just kind of find your way to get it done. There's no excuses.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. If there's one government policy that you can change to make your business better, what would it be?
No, less taxes. I mean, in Nigeria, you pay tax for everything, especially if you're running a legitimate business. There's tax, and then those taxes, you still hire security, you still get water, you still pay for your own, electricity, and then you get charged for radio tax. So the environment needs to be more conducive. And I think if the environment is conducive, it's going to create more jobs. It's going to create more opportunities for everyone, and we just hope for the best.
Well, I know yours is power, but aside power, if there's any other policy that you could change to make your business better, what would it be?
Well, there's just certain products we're still importing that we really don't have any business importing them, to be honest. So they need to look into that aspect of leakages in our ports where certain things are still coming in. We can, build a lot of this equipment, not just for basketball, other sports as well. I give you an example. Just before the pandemic started, we were to host the sports festival in Edo State, okay? And there was this contractor that came up to me and said, "Oh, provide us 4 sets of handball goalposts." Now, handball goalposts is not something we do often. So these items stayed in our storage facility for the duration of the lockdown. And after the lockdown, I approached him and I said, "Hey, guy, you need to come and pick up your stuff now, otherwise you pay demurrage." So he saw his equipment for the first time when he picked it up, and he was like, "Did you import it?" I said, "Guy, we just finished the lockdown. How could I have imported it?" So I'm trying to, buttress the point that there are a lot of things we can do that to international standards, might not even be web engineering. It might be some other guys, looking at other business opportunities around sports, not necessarily basketball, and they come up with a fantastic product, that can sell. So we need to look at ways of protecting, these products, from the government side of things in terms of, I know the policies are there, but enforcing them, bringing to book, violators of these policies. A lot of people, I remember one other policy that favored the manufacturers of generator soundproofs locally here in Nigeria. In 2005, Obasanjo regime came up with the ban on the importation of generator soundproofs. And would you believe that because of that ban, I was a benefactor of learning about numerical control, computer numeric control machines in Nigeria, because these companies then had to import the skill sets of, the machines and skill sets of the process of getting their manufacture of generators and proofs done locally in Nigeria. So these are the kind of benefits we stand to gain. These are the kind of opportunities that our engineers, our people stand to gain, when we have such policies in place. So I believe there's a lot that can be done. I just hope that the message goes out there and reaches out to the right people up there, assembly members, whatsoever.
Yeah. I know that financing is usually a problem for every entrepreneur, but does operating a business in the sports sector, does it make it easier to access funds, or does it make it more difficult?
To be honest, I have never really leveraged on that accessing financial assistance from BOI or banks or whatever. We try to generate whatever we can, internally, and we've been growing, with that as well. However, I know there will be a time that I would need to get on board, these kind of facilities with either investors or approach the Bank of Industry. So again, I know they have plans for sport-related equipment. I think there's a very low interest rate, from the likes of Bank of Industry for manufacturers of sport-related equipment. However, you need to you need to show them the invoice of the purchase of the machine you're going to bring in. So then that's the only interface, or that's the only point where they come to support manufacturers of such industry. So again, when we get to that level, I believe we'll cross our bridge.
How about you, Ugo? How easy is it to source for funds, considering that you're in a sport business environment?
To source the funds?
Yeah, I know that financing is usually a major problem for entrepreneurs, but being in the sports business, does it make it easier for you, or more difficult?
Well, I think everything you're doing where you are ahead of the game or one of the pioneers in what you're doing is always going to be difficult. But again, I go back to investor confidence, where you make sure every little thing you do and everything you do serves the purpose of your objective, and make sure you're very transparent and conscientious with all your accounting to make sure people trust what you're doing. And once people see you're delivering, once people see opportunity, it makes it easy to, just table what you have to table, and everybody will buy in because they know whatever is going, they see the progress, they see the opportunity, and they see that, you're using funds for what it's supposed to be for. So investor confidence is primary in what we do. And also, I think there are a lot of people that understand that the opportunity is there. So really for us, it's not easy, but we work hard to make it easy.
Okay. In the next 10 years, for example, what do you think the sports sector will be like in terms of businesses and private sector investments? What do you think the current landscape will evolve into in another 10 years?
I think we need more weapons. I think we need more entrepreneurs in the industry. I think, again, I keep emphasizing, I think the low-hanging fruit and what everybody has seen in the past couple of years is the government's opportunities. We need more weapons. You need more government support. But I think government support will come when they see the results that are coming in. And once you have that and you have more private enterprise in the system, whether it's the leagues or the games or the events, it's going to change the world. I think Nigeria, the sports and entertainment has the potential to create a whole new industry on its own. And that's, honestly, for me, that's the legacy we want to leave behind. That's a legacy, I've always said this. I don't even think it will be 10 years. I always had a dream where a basketball player will live in Banana Island, drive to the arena with his wife and kid, wait in a nice car, play a game, come back home and it's a profession, or a referee, or a journalist. I think it's not too far-fetched. I think it could be a whole ecosystem, a whole new enterprise. I always had a dream where, even the person doing the scoreboard can feed his family off of it. If we create the enterprise, it will happen. It's not going to come from government, obviously. It's not going to come from the various federations. It's going to come from private enterprise. That's why we need more weapons.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about you?
We need more weapons.
Thank you.
But Weber, how about you? What do you think the landscape will be like in another 10 years?
The opportunities are so enormous. it's so open and so young, these opportunities that we just need to set our minds right. And, because Africa as a whole is opening up to the world, you know, if Africa wasn't opening up to the world, you wouldn't see the likes of NBA and FIBA rushing down to Africa with the Basketball Africa League. You wouldn't see the NBA creating an NBA Africa headquarters in Senegal or South Africa or wherever. You wouldn't see attention, being drawn, to a country like Nigeria in terms of our participation in world tournaments like World Cup qualifiers that was held in Lagos. You wouldn't see, you wouldn't have witnessed, you know, the tremendous growth we've had in our national teams, like the female national team, the tournaments they've won, the matches they've won, at the international competitions, even the Olympics that we're supposed to go for, before in this year, there's so much attention now that we are no longer neglected. So we just have to make sure we are ready for those opportunities that come with the attention we are getting now in Africa. I can tell you, even in the NBA, a country like Nigeria is still growing in the ranks of the number of NBA players we're producing. You may call them African, Nigerian Americans or whatsoever, but I know they are always Nigerians by blood, and so many other countries too that are going to start producing world-class NBA players in the next couple of drafts. You take a country like South Sudan, for instance. There were a lot of South Sudanese families that moved to the US back in the early 90s. Most of their children now are of high school, college ages, and they're playing well in their high school and college teams. Take a country like Angola. Now, before now, we used to feel it was a language barrier thing. But now there are a lot of Angolan kids in the US speaking English as well, not just Portuguese alone. Mozambique, Tunisia, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, there's a lot of attention that is coming to Africa. And because of just this, we need to make sure we're creating the right opportunities for ourselves in continent. We're leveraging on all the opportunities we see around us to make sure we grow our economy. Otherwise, somebody out there is just going to come here and rip it all off before our own very eyes, and we'll just be sitting there complaining about not being the chairman of this association or president of that federation.
Okay. Dami, I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Okay.
3 years ago when we did the ABA, right, I told people in 5 years the NBA will be in Nigeria, in Africa.
Yeah.
It happened in 3.
Yeah.
Right? And I said that boldly. And when they came, everybody thought I was very happy that the NBA came because it opened up a lot. It's going to open up whether their intentions or whatever it is for African basketball. I hope the EuroLeague comes too. I'm also predicting in the next 5 years, Nike will come to Nigeria. And I'm also predicting even for that the next 5 years, Weber's company will be $100 million company.
Those are bold predictions. I like it.
I'm making bold predictions because just to resonate, amplify some of the things Weber just said. Except if you're blind and can't see what's happening around the world, then you will not jump on this right now. That's why I'm also saying there need to be more Webers. There has to be, the opportunity is there. It's not easy, but with the right mindset, the right ability to learn, what we're doing is not that complicated. What Weber is doing, a lot of people out there that talk about these things, talk about these things can do the same thing. And what I'm doing is not that complicated. I'm not the first person to start a shoe business in Nigeria. I'm not the first person to own a shoe brand. Anybody can do it. It's not that complicated. I want Nike to come. I want Adidas to come. I think when all these things happen, it's going to help create jobs. It's going to help create opportunities. And if that's all we've done in this world, we did a good job.
That's great. So I'm going to ask, because I've seen Alpha Sports try sign some form of endorsement deal with Izine Kalu. I've also seen recently tweets or videos from Weber showing another member of the female team, Palace, try promote some basketball uprights. From your perspective as brand owners, what do our athletes need to do to attract more brand endorsements and to be the face of brands, in Nigeria and globally? What do they have? What do they need to do that?
Well, let me answer first, because this is a very, very important question. First of all, let's start with AfroBasket. It was last year in Senegal. 10,000 people watched it in Dakar, right? In the arena. I was looking at the numbers from Star Times. I was looking at the numbers from Star Times in Nigeria, about not even up to 500 people watched it in the whole of Nigeria. That's terrible.
Wow, 500.
That's terrible. It's so terrible because they show these games in Europe, and this has something to do with the organization of basketball in Africa. The commentaries coming from Europe, and none of these games are shown here. Nobody really knows there's Inekal in Nigeria. Nobody really knows who Palace is in Nigeria. So even for Alpha Sports, and you wonder even how a country like Nigeria doesn't get big money from sponsorship from African companies because of these same situations. A lot of this has to do with the colonialism of basketball in Africa. Everything is being taken out and sold in Europe. And sponsorship is going to be a problem for the athletes because nobody knows who they are. You can't market what you don't know. And I think at some point there needs to be a conversation needs to be had with the people that run basketball across Africa and what direction they want to do. Either they just want to keep raising money for the organization or they want to empower the athletes to have the opportunity to do something like that.
Okay, thanks. Weber, from your perspective, what do you think they need to do?
Like I said, and like Ugo has also iterated many times, we need to create opportunities for ourselves. We need to create the right enabling environment for our athletes to, do exploits. Working with Palace came from the passion we saw in her, for basketball. She's just gotten a deal with a new team in Spain, and she'll be going back to Europe in September. And we hope to get 2 other products launched by her before she departs for our team in Europe this September. Why we're doing this is we want to showcase our products from the perspective of using our own people to build that awareness, to build that capacity, to build that, to get that crowd engagement going. A lot of people who, because of what we've been able to showcase now, can resonate with Palace. I've got parents calling me, to ask who is that lady, in that video. I've got people who now want their girls to be like Palace, okay?
Oh, wow.
Because when I pulled out our resume and, saw what she was able to achieve while in college, and believe this lady started with Hope for Girls in Abuja not many years ago. Yeah, Hope for Girls, which is run by our own very Babalola Akinode. So you see, there's a lot we can do to promote ourselves, and by so doing, these athletes will also be able to earn some form of money for what they do, outside of what they currently earn from their club side. So there's a lot of way athletes should actually be making money, even when they are off season. Okay, a lot of opportunities out there, and I know we'll get there. It's just a first step, and there's good step in the right direction.
Yeah, we'll get there. So I want to say a very big thank you to Ugo for joining, and also for Weber for joining. And in the next, Ugo said, within the next 5 years, when Alpha Sport and Weber become $100 million business, we want.
I say Weber.
we want exclusive interviews from you guys, just to celebrate your cover. So thank you very much for being a part of this.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, cheers.